Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Uh, it's the morning dew for certified doers just like you. I'm Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and the list legislator for the House of Delegates, 93rd District. It is a blessing to see you this morning. I want to say this morning I kind of got a dose of, oh my goodness, how long have we been doing this? I woke up and I was getting this all ready. And as soon as I hit at 7 o'clock to start our live, my storage was like, listen, if you don't get rid of some of these videos, we ain't recording nothing. And then I got to scroll through just how long we've been doing this. If you've been hanging in there with me since, God, 2020 one or two, 2022, actually 2021, these recordings go back that deep of the morning due for certified doers. I just think it's really wild, really random. So glad that we're doing it. We're just going to keep it up, keep at it. Don't forget to, if you're logging on now and you've got an event, you've got an activity, you've got a question, you've got a comment, remember this is your time. This is doers, you are up. So remember, this is your time. Go ahead and ask all the questions. Do not be shy about it here. This is an opportunity for us to talk. So, I'll do all the talking, but I also appreciate when y'all come on in and you have your questions, you have your comments, you have your concerns. If you have a community event, go ahead and drop it in the comments, and then I can share it at 25 after the hour, and then we'll go from there. I just want to backtrack and sort of recap some of the things that have happened this past week. I have been interfacing recently with a lot of school teachers. So I just want to say that I think I'm percolating on doing as we get ready to roll out of the school year, trying to roll into an opportunity to share space and recap with the community on the school year, what the General Assembly has done, and then the expectation of us like moving forward, like what I think it's important for people to understand what my role is. Like, what is my role with public education? Not just as this role that some of us share as, a parent, an advocate, but just taking on the delegate position. And then how can that be helpful with advocacy within our system? And I want to listen more first, because I've heard from teachers, police officers, students, support staff, like people that have left the district, people that are planning not to come back to the district, people that are staying in the district. So I definitely want to make that a priority sometime in the near future. So that sort of thing is coming up. And if you have a specific thing, our team is putting together we're putting together these, the word is town hall, but I am sure that's not what we're doing. We're putting together some roundtable collaborative sessions on specific items, because as you know, I mean, if you don't know, I'm going to explain it now, is we're about to roll into June and July. And y'all, I'm going to start really putting together my list of legislation that I want to bring forward for 2025. Yeah, roundtables. Thanks, Tiago. Tiago's going to beat me up, but yeah. Yeah, Chaga. So the roundtables, we're doing that. That is a real thing. We're going to be rolling that out, and you all have an opportunity to sort of liaison with us on some of the areas of interest that we have. I'm looking in the comments, and I see on Instagram, Bendo times two said, I'd like to speak about my nonprofit. Good morning. No worries about that. So if you could drop in the comments anything that you would like us to share, or anything about your nonprofit. This can also, remember, doers, these morning dues are also connector sessions. Sometimes we're connecting to each other, even if it's cross platforms. A way to just share what we're doing, and then how other people can get involved, even if that is an ask. I want to throw one out there. I got a text over the weekend from from Shark City Drums. And if you guys haven't seen what Shark City Drums does, you need to get out. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I get to see it because y'all, I get invited to a lot of different things. However, there is a drum line here that, I mean, they show up. They show up everywhere. Like it's young people, and uh, it is. Hold on, I'm making sure. I want to bring up their. I want to bring up their website for you all to see, and I'm going to go ahead and share it. This weekend they were doing a fundraiser. I believe they met their fundraising goal, but still in all, Shark City Drum, it was started, and I think they're housed down in the Berkeley area. They started off working with local high schools, wanted to become a performing arts and dance company, and have managed to be a huge deal out here. I am going to share, because the executive director is a gentleman by the name of Fred Dixon. He runs it, he funds it, he does all the things in between. And I'm going to give you guys the link to give to them. If you should you choose this weekend. That was my organization of choice this weekend, to not of choice. Fred actually sent it to me and was like, "Yo, we're doing a fundraiser. Let's get it," and was able to give there. And I think about the rolling into the summer, and I think that this should be at the front of many of the leadership's mind, mine included. If you're a leader in the community, is that school is about to be out, and the programs sometimes for our young people they're limited. There's a responsibility, I think, to figure out what are the things out there, the free activities. And that's something, last time we had We Care 757 on here talking about the work that they're doing. But any free activities that y'all have going on that we can start pushing out. Like, I genuinely want to start pushing some things out to parents, because on my end, I was just looking at things for my 13-year-old to do over the summer, and realized that much of the stuff that she wanted to do has already it's either already full, or the registration is passed, and so on. So it can be really difficult to find things that are affordable and available at this point in the game over the summer. So that's a big deal. If y'all can help us curate that, or put it in my ear, so that if I'm out in the streets and I'm talking to a guardian, a caretaker, or a parent, or otherwise auntie or uncle that's just trying to make sure that there's things for our young folk to do over the summer, like, let's do it. Okay, so there's that. I'm looking in the comments. I'm just going to go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to say, Ben Dope times 2 says, I went to high school with Fred. He's a solid dude, really does it for the kids, and loves music. I mean, I love music. I think we all, in some way, we pull from the music space. So that's an important thing. So yeah, shout out to Fred, shout out to what they're doing in Shark City Drums, and the link, put the link on all the programs, and you can I think you can find them website at, come on, Jackie, at sharkcitydrum.com. Just keeping that at the forefront of let's keep that at the forefront of our minds. And Ben Dope times 2, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get, okay, I'm gonna touch base on what you have asking. That's a great question. Actually, let's just go ahead and get into your questions. Ben so dope times 2 on Instagram. And again, remember, this is y'all's time. I could talk your ears off, but really, this is you. You tell me, and I'll keep it moving. Ben So Dope said, well, it's been a transition. It's their nonprofit. Can you type the name of your nonprofit? I think I remember you saying it on another live, but go ahead and type the name of your nonprofit. And if you're on any other platforms and you have questions, comments, go ahead and drop them in the chat. It's been a transitional assistance program for non-violent offenders that are interested in getting in a trade or residential construction. I'm lost on where to get started and finding resources, money. Yeah, I can tell you, like, I've probably had 5 or 6 nonprofits that are like holding in hands. Like, I'm trying to edit, that they're trying to that they're genuinely trying to get they're trying to get themselves off their feet for funding wise. So hold on, we're having a little bit of issues here, just a little bit, when you're producing and you're doing all the things all at once. So it's a power, capital POWER, through initiative, looking for resources, funding sources, money sources as a nonprofit for non-filing vendors that are interested in getting a trade. So because I know that there is not an unlimited supply of things and opportunities, what I think, and if I'm thinking on my toes here about how to give funding for something, thinking about non-violent offenders. I guess the question is the thing that you need funding for, and then is there, because that could give some directions, or any partnerships. Have you had any partnerships that you have or have not made to be able to scale that? Because here's what happens sometimes with not just in the nonprofit world, but period, is being able to see where someone else is able to be a resource on one thing, which helps your nonprofit, and then understanding, or like one nonprofit just sent me their budget, their schedule, because we're going to try to, actually not just a couple weeks ago, like trying to figure out how do we gel what they're doing with some of the initiatives at the state level. Are there some state grants? Is there opportunity to get them funding that way? But I kind of have to know, are you looking for, money to put them in school? Are you teaching? Is it a class? Do you have a website? Let's start, or somewhere where I can learn a little bit more, people can learn a bit more, and then look at how we can be helpful. Because for nonprofits, I think funding it's always going to be a thing if you're not coming in with capital, y'all. And partnerships are a way to scale. And then recognizing, and it's something I think we had a conversation about this before. It's like not forgetting, like we can't also forget that nonprofit is a business. So there has to be a way to fund or source that business. And it, like, even for me, like it would be tough just trying to have the funding to do the things that need to happen. So what are the avenues that you take in, and then what sort of things, what sort of partnerships might be beneficial for that specific, for your nonprofit, programs that'll connect you to that, to those folks as well. I don't know if I know that doesn't help specifically, but I definitely know, like, let me drop that in the comments, and then maybe there's some way we can connect some things off, offline. And I'll also, scrolling at the bottom of the screen too, is the information for my office. So do not hesitate to tap in that way, whether it's via email or phone call. Knowing that one of our biggest partners, specifically with folks trying to get acclimated, Goodwill has been an amazing partner for us with just connecting the dots to other programs that help. They call them barrier populations. And I think we talked about this. Anyone with the barrier to maintaining employment, whether it's a physical disability, a record, one of the highest, I keep saying, and I don't like that. One sector of barrier population that they're really honing in on are men that are having to pay child support because of the ability to be able to pay child support and still be able to have a be able to have some sustainable living, right? How does that work given today's economy and climate? How do we put those things together? How can they be an employer of choice that understands the barrier and is willing to work through and to the issue, so that person with the barrier, again, whether it's a disability, can move up or out of the company? Okay, so not yet been reaching out to different orgs, haven't had any door opens, but I have a core idea and all. No website yet. Okay. All right. So I think there may be some space to connect the dots. So Ben Dope Yet was saying, hey y'all, like I haven't been reached out to any orgs yet. Not had any doors open. Well, let's open some doors. Let's do it. Like open some doors. I have a core idea, but not at all. But and all, not no website yet. But if you are interested in like how to be helpful to the Power Initiative, the Power Through Initiative nonprofit, because they're working with, and I'm saying this again out loud, working with transitional assistance program for non-violent felonies that want to go into construction. That's a big deal. Inmates, they don't have a lot of time. You're absolutely right. We visited, and actually some folks in the delegation today, that delegation are the folks that represent the city, are going to a prison today, I believe. So shout out to the other folks from Norfolk that are visiting prison. While I was in session, I had the opportunity to visit one of our state prisons and to meet our incarcerated neighbors. And that was the biggest thing that we heard. Like that was, when I say that was like the number one thing, is like, I need support transitioning. I'm here, I've got an X, Y, and Z. So like when that time comes, what are my resources? What are my support systems? Not just to get me on my feet, but to keep me on my feet and like work with me through the challenges of transitioning from behind the wall back into the neighborhood, because they are our neighbors all the way around. So that is not easy work. And I'm going to copy and paste this, your email here, the email. I'm going to copy so that we can have it on the other platforms as well. Here, Control C. So Instagram is the only one that don't want to play nice with us when we be trying to when we be trying to do stuff. So I'm putting it on the rest of the platforms. There we go. Should go to Madison. Yeah. That the thing about that Suhey, hey, good morning, Lisa, said that you should go a tour to Madison School. That's a prison pipeline. I have a educator in that school that I speak to very much so often about what's going on inside of Madison. And I try to keep educators at some of our schools that are maybe on the struggle bus. I don't want to say maybe, that are on the struggle bus. And this is one of those things where I genuinely know that if we don't have the leadership that is willing to outwardly say, here are the amazing things that are happening in our system, here are the things that we're struggling. Like if you can't even admit that there's a problem with successes, then we'll never get to the point where we're able to change some of the behaviors, the culture. I mean, I just talked to a teacher the other day that was like, look at my arm. Look at my arm. I got bit by a teenager. How does this happen? Like that. And so as I led, I don't know if you were here in the beginning, Lisa, but it said there has to be some space as we get ready to transition from being in school to out of school, to provide some understanding of like, okay, here's what I have control over. Here's what I can do. Here's how we organize for the other side of things. Here's where I can advocate. Here's where I can be a part of that and also help organize in a very real way. But Madison has been. I know a parent that had a lawsuit against the school system for some things that happened there. So it is not just we have amazing educators, we have amazing administrators, we have amazing support staff, and then we have some not so amazing educators, administrators, and support staff. And I believe that there is a breakdown somewhere between when things trickle down from the state, when they go to the central office, and then how they make it out to our schools. I'm still amazed and also frustrated at how Lindenwood and Lurchmont Elementary, and if you know, those two schools exist in the same district. It's know that we have tried. It's not amazing. It's actually pretty freaking frustrating. But we have made strides to, at the very minimum, have conversations with the school board. Have said that when they have these meetings with this, when they have these meetings with, the council and with the board, that um, more people need to be at the table, present company included, like present. I think both state and federal partners need to be there to understand the scope of our problem is so deep that we probably need to be better partners in understanding the problem and helping walking towards, and also being a bit more candid, because I sometimes think there's some tiptoeing around some of the things. But when you can't get, the unfortunate thing is that we have not been able to get the leadership and the central office to the table. And I don't know what that is, and I don't know what that is about. But I know that that is a problem because we cannot put our head in the sand on what's happening within our. And I'm trying. I'm also doing that thing where I am trying to still have my hand out like this without it turning into a fist, because the punching the air is not going to get me anything. So please know that we've been really trying to have really candid and forward leaning conversations with the school system from a place of love, because I think there's a true love for the system. I just talked to a firefighter yesterday that has worked in Norfolk for, and these are the stories, right? These are the things, y'all. These are the things that come across my desk where I'm just like, we're not doing a service. I had a conversation with a firefighter yesterday who still works here. Still works in the city of Norfolk, had young children, and realized because one of their children has a particular need in the school system, that they needed to leave Norfolk and still work here, that they needed leave to ensure, or because they knew that they didn't have the support that they needed here in the system to be able to make sure that their child was set up for success. And the level of, and it was not shame, let me say this, it's not shame, but the level of how much this person loves this city, like the level of like, I really love it here. People say bad things about Norfolk, but I love it here. I couldn't do that to my child. And not doing something about it. So as those people trickle out, right? Like as people, what I think we also have to hold in our hands and have some real conversations with regards to particularly our schools, which are a form of economic development. It's why people move places. It's why people don't move places, is that just as we fund, right, as we get to a point where we're saying, I think everyone has a different idea of what fully fund looks like. Just as we get to that place, that we recognize that uh, it's going to keep becoming a struggle, not only as people go to private school or decide to homeschool, uh, but we have a per pupil. And if pupils are leaving the system, then the need keeps getting great because the money keeps getting less and less and less, if that makes any sense. And so I do feel like there's a hit. There are heads in the sand um, when it comes to our school. I am frustrated, and frustration's not enough, right? Um, and I believe that there will be a point where I can be a lot more candid about some of the conversations that I've had that are ready for front door, right? Ready for to come to this medium. I just am genuinely, y'all, trying to build bridges, trying to build bridges just to get in a space where we can even have real freaking conversations about what the community is saying to me and have it believed, because does not fall deaf on me, the fact that as a public servant, right, I asked to do this job as I do it, that the kinds of communications that's coming, or specifically not coming from the leadership, if I'm getting it as a delegate, what is happening to folks as parents. And I know, because y'all know I started this walk with the school board, right? I genuinely started that walk there. And I say this from a place of my children I'm super fortunate to be an advocate and have the bandwidth and the privilege to show up for them and other kids in our community. But that is not the case for every child. So I know there are parents that are being failed. There are children that are being failed. And I sat next to, and I'm saying this because it won't matter. I sat next to a person of power and privilege like myself, and that it's not in our ear. It's not somebody that represents anybody in Norfolk, but another elected person. And I explain exactly what I'm saying to y'all. Like, look, people are choosing. We want to fund public school. We're making historic investments, but people of color too. Let me just say, it's not just privileged white folks leaving, because that's sometimes the sentiment that's who it is. But people that have the means are leaving and choosing otherwise. And I don't begrudge them for wanting their child to be successful. I cannot begrudge a person for saying, I'm going to do everything that I can to ensure that my child is successful. And if NPS isn't it, there are specific schools. Like I had one tell me the other morning, if my kid didn't get into this program, we were going to have to go to private school. We're going to go right back to where we were. But the person said to me, and this is where we all have to be very mindful of our language and who we point fingers at. The lawmaker said to me, well, what the parents said, like what the parents doing. I was like, wait, you missed it. You missed the whole point. I don't know. I do know that you, during the pandemic, you did not have children, right? I do know that you don't understand how really freaking hard it was to show up and be present and do all the things that was asked of us in the pandemic, and to now go walk back into school and just have to like really work so hard. And I maybe it wasn't like that for everyone, but I know my house was full of kids during the pandemic trying to get homework done. And I know that transitioning some of those scholars back in, we were not successful. And we're still working on some of them in a very real way to get back into school and be some semblance of successful. And so the language of immediately shaming parents, because we do have parents, and I know this because my son is in the early childhood education program here in the school system. So like shout out to Norfolk Technical Center that is doing, if y'all don't follow them on if you got Instagram, I would encourage you, or Facebook, follow Norfolk Technical Center, because it's a reminder that there are amazing things happening in our schools. There are amazing opportunities. Like there's good shit, there's good stuff happening. So be not dismayed. But the moment you start indicting all of us as parents, like the moment, because I felt indicted. I was like, I didn't do, we're here. And actually, some of us are being kept out of the school from being helpful because something shifted in 2019 or so. I used to be in the school all the time. Like I would take my lunch breaks, go up to the school and read to the little kids, not even my kids' classroom. So like the culture has shifted to where like we are the enemy. Like we cannot, and we do got, like I said, we got enabling parents. I mean, not all parents are great, but we're talking about, same way with educators, we're talking about the minority of us, right? Because if everybody was behaving that way, we'd be in a world of trouble. Like the minority of us with educators, the minority of us with as parents, but the majority of leadership, present company in included. So I'm going to get like, and I feel complicit, right? Like you also should hold me accountable for my role in the funding piece, right? The advocacy piece. And I think we're doing our damnedest to make sure that no one can say we're not trying to fund at our best. We're not trying to advocate at our best. But when I get told, y'all, when I'm in the community and I'm talking to y'all, and we're doing this, and I'm being told that I'm making stuff up, it is so frustrating. But I also understand why parents are not trusting the leadership, both on the board and in central office, to show up for them. And when you lose trust, you begin to lose hope. And when you lose hope, you look for other options. And I think that is what's happening. And it's going to be interesting to see what the vacancy level looks like, what the attendance and enrollment levels look like in the years to come. If something has to change, something has to change. And I think if you're like me, I just want us to admit that we have a problem so like we can work on it together. Let me go to the comments because I've been running my mouth, and I apologize. I put us at the 30-minute mark. Mark Bell said, I work in the school system. We need more. Marky, I'm sorry, Marky Bell said, and we need support, backup. Yeah, like, and also I love being particular about I don't know if you're Mrs. Bell, Miss Bell, or Mr. Bell, but and I see a woman picture, but that don't mean nothing. But Marquis, I just am interested for you. What does support look like? Right. That what does that actually look like for you? And I know that looks different in different classrooms and different schools, need different levels of help. But what is that? If you don't mind, uh, um, if you're here, can you like drop in the comments, at least for the community's sake, because member certified doers, this is our opportunity to connect and learn more about what's happening to our neighbors with our neighbors. Can you drop in the comments like what that means for you, what that looks like for you? And I'm going to get over to Instagram because I see some other ones there. Miss Charlene, oh, it's so good to see you. Good to hear from you this morning. It says, good morning, everyone. The history of trying to get the right ship at Lendingwood. Frankly, the entire leadership should be replaced. And what I meant by that, I think I said that at a town hall, the fact that Lurchmont and Lindenwood exist in the same district is Lurchmont has been a school since I've been here that has been wanting, right? A school of wanting and has had great needs. And I remember when I was campaigning, or right after I did not get elected on the first try. I remember coming back and being like, hey, I'll come read to the classroom. And it was the fifth grade teacher they were reading. It was a district-wide book they were reading about anyway, sorry, I'm going too deep into that memory, but it was good. I came and read a chapter of the book, and I just remember seeing the wetness on the ceiling and smelling the things. And I had talked to maintenance folks about like, how can we be helpful? What does PMS look like? Preventative maintenance system. Is there like really trying to understand where there's a systematic failure? Because coming from the military life, I know for maintenance, we do preventative maintenance to prevent, to keep ourselves from crumbling, like keep our infrastructure from crumbling. So I'm like wondering, like, how do we actually get to this point? Like, how do we actually, like, I want to know, how do we get here with some of these spaces? And is it a leadership thing? And I know that's aside from what you're saying, Miss Charlene, because it's but it's a school that's always wanting. And then we have a school like Lurchmont that has their needs met. And it is socioeconomically different. If you look at our school attendance zone, it's extremely segregated. Still, I live in the Valentine Place area, and the children that go to middle school here, they go to school all the way by the airport. Think about that. Like, all the way by like past the airport at Azalea Gardens. It's wild the way that we're growing and continuing to be even more and more segregated. And I did hear a briefing from a school board member saying that they're looking at attendance zone, which is going to be hard because we also, can I say this to us? Like, sir, can I be candid with us doers here? Can I really be candid with us too, is that we also have to be willing to help be a part of ushering people into change. Because I think since I've lived here, since I've been in Norfolk, it's been very difficult to get people to understand why some of the changes in the school system have to happen, and they're really freaking hard, because we have been institutionalized to think that some of the things that have us as second-class citizens are normal, but also advocating still for the thing, because you're advocating for, the little things like a ceiling that doesn't leak. like you're on the high Maslow's hierarchy. We're at the bottom of the hierarchy. So when we start talking about the upper things that need to change, it's very hard to buy into those upper things, because you're just like, I just want the bathroom doors to lock, and to be believed that I have, that there are issues. Good morning, Jalen, over on LinkedIn. We're gonna wrap up here, I promise. What do we have here? So nothing's been right since 1985, when they created the 10 community schools. Resources have dwindled down since then, and that may have been by intent. And I don't know about the 10 community schools, so I would love to learn a little bit more about that. What that was, what was the purpose of that? I do always remember hearing about a particular superintendent, and I can't remember his name, that was really amazing. And people talk about how he had a mission, how he did this, how he did that, and was getting us on the track. And like, also heard about the past greatness, and like what has happened since then is an important part of the conversation. But thank you for sharing that, and I'd love to learn a little bit more about that. Let me go over to Instagram before I close this one out. And I'm sorry this has been like a difficult conversation one. I'm really sensitive about the schools, and I don't mean sensitive as like touchy. I just am sensitive in the way that I have found myself running into brick walls trying to talk about them, because I am unafraid of accountability as it comes to me, right? You can come on here and be like, Jackie, um, you have been sucking at X, Y, and Z, right? Like, and I understand that's the nature of my job, but I think truth and accountability has caused me to feel like, have caused people to feel like I am just honestly like just shitting on the system, and that's not what we're trying to do. And I'm genuinely trying to build bridges, and have been had very mild success. But when it comes to our education, and so many people run on education, that's what makes me so angry. Like so many people run on education, and it's like, or get at people next about education. So like if we understand that it is a basis when we talk about politicos and community development and things, that's everybody's talking about. So like, why are we here then? If we know that this is, why are we here? Why are we still having this conversation? So that's a thing. Ben Dope times 2 says, thank you. Definitely something to put together. That's more detailed so you can get a full picture of what I'm trying to do. Yes, that's for the nonprofit, y'all. Lisa Suhe said, the Huntersville Wolverines football program has been around for 40 years and needs to be recognized and seen. Coach Brown is holding it together by a shoestring. If you have a link, Lisa, that maybe if people want to contribute, I would earlier, if you weren't with us earlier, Doers, we were talking about sharing things to do over the summer. School's going to go out, and all of the problems that were in the school, y'all, are going to roll right into the community. And so it can be... I think everybody here got a property tax bill that they said sheesh to. Okay. Like I think all of us got a property tax bill that I know I'm looking at how my bills have significantly increased over the past 2 years. And if I didn't have little citizens that are now able to sort of care for themselves over the summer, I would kind of be like trying to shoestring together how I'm going to get them taken care of over the summer. So I'm looking for opportunities where we can support the nonprofits that, or the organizations, programs that are free, that are low cost, or provide funding in spaces where people that are doing things with young folks are able to grow and scale, because the summer is coming. And like I said, the one thing that I wanted my daughter to do, it's full now, like it's a wait list now. And I'm like, trying to figure out, but Lisa, if you feel like we need to commend them, please reach out to the office. It's scrolling at the bottom, and like we can see if we can put a resolution together. Let's talk about what they are, who they are, while they're doing, and then maybe we can go from there. I'll go over here. So whoever on LinkedIn said good morning, I'm saying good morning back. Marky Bell said, I feel indicted or inducted and I think it means indicted. Yeah. Like you're being blamed as an educator. I could see that. I can see how you feel that, because you do have parents that be like, these teachers, and then it's real. So I want to thank you for your service. Like I'm a military person. At some point you get out of the military. If you're an educator, you will never get out. That's real, right? You're always in. You always going to be meeting somebody to say, this is my kids, and you taught me whenever. You just never get out. So I appreciate your service, and we got to do more than that. And I think that's a real sentiment. Marquis said, and this is what I was asking for. Thank you. Okay, so we have to deal with mental health issues, social, emotional issues, behavior issues, hungry children, tired children, all before we get started in a day. The answer shouldn't be more teacher training. We need more folks who specialize in these areas so we can get these children the help they need. Oh my, I'm a Miss LLL. Also work with Jennifer Dawson at Virginia Justice Alliance. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, they're doing good work at Virginia Justice Alliance. I know we got some stuff on the books with you all. Yeah, that's real. So here's the deal. I think I've been saying this since we started the game, y'all, is that the issue that we're seeing in two specific industries, education and law enforcement, is that we are asking both educators and police officers to be first responders to all of the things, right? Everything from the mental health and everything in between. We're asking them also to be the ones who help teach conflict resolution while telling them we're not going to pay them what we need to pay them. Now we got y'all getting that 3% raise. That is great. But like, these are the people that we're asking to do all the conflict resolution in our really in our community and in our schools, the things that are our biggest economic drivers, and just being like, we can't really put no respect on what y'all do. And that's not everybody, but I'm just saying I can understand, and I hope that you all can empathize with why Miss Bell feels that way, that like I'm being a divide, y'all asking for me, and then I have to be a leftover person for my own life. Like I'm trying to also live. When Gene Carter, okay, so these are the names. I've heard these names, Miss Charlene. When Gene Carter and John Simpson were grade superintendents, we're happy to give you history, like learn me something. Y'all understand that I touched down in Virginia in 2013. So there is, while that's helpful because I am unafraid to, I don't have those spaces where I feel like I'm afraid to say what I think I'm seeing, because I, went to church, went to school, and don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. I try to be tactful. I mean, not try to, I do think I come from a place of truth and love, and I still understand why that's uncomfortable. But contextually, sometimes you all are the best people to sort of give me some backstory on things that I may not have experienced, being a come here, not a from here. Oh, I know you didn't mean, she said I didn't mean indicted. I thought you meant indicted. Okay, got it. Okay, over here, Lexi says we love you because you have the difficult conversations. And no, this one is super difficult, Lexi. Like I feel like I don't want y'all to feel like I'm being PC. I just want y'all to know, like, I'm trying to build relationships and it's really hard. We all got egos. I can tell you 5 or 6 things that I believe I'm not doing well at right now. And as a person that has asked me, as a person who has asked the community to allow me to lead, I can think of some areas where I've got some space for improvement. It's a lot, and I can't get it perfect either. And so I have to own where I need some accountability personally, and me and the infrastructure that I've built to be able to support you where I'm slipping, right? Like you can catch me slipping, and I just don't know that. I think egos are a problem right now. And I could say that and know that I would say that in a room full of people. And again, I'm not trying to do anything to burn bridges. I want cohesion for the sake of doing better for our kids, because they do not have time for our BS of having our egos in the way about how people feel about how we do our job, because you should have opinions. You should. So thank you. It is hard. It is hard. I just wish sometimes I'm saying things, and I understand why there are educators that are afraid to go on the record. I understand why there are police officers that are afraid to go on the record, of not even afraid, just like low key on the record about stuff that's happening. And like tell me. And so I hear and I receive, y'all. I swear I hear you. I receive it. It's not that I'm doing nothing with the information. It's just I don't like to be called a liar when I'm standing face to face with people and I'm doing my homework in the office. Our office is like, we've got amazing people that work in the office with us. And it's like, I'm going to do my ass too. Like if you believe in what we're doing and how we're doing, I'm going to ask you to contribute. And the link is in the bio. You can go to deliajackie.com, glass.com to donate. But I'm using the money that I get from my supporters to ensure that I have better staff to supplement for those areas that I just can't show up in all the time. That's real. Like, you can look at my finance reports and see where this money is going. Like we're trying, but it's a lot. The need is great. The need is great. And I know that. And I don't think that I will solve the world's problem. I don't think any one of you can solve the world's problem, but we collectively doers have to do the thing in our corner of the world. And I assure you, I know, and I want to just say this because I know somebody's like, yo, this feels crazy. You are doing your absolute best in your corner. And I know that best changes from day to day. Um, and I ask that you just don't stop doing it. It's not thankless. I'm going to say thank you because when people show up in their communities, that helps people like me, right? Like, one, amplify the work, become a part of the work. I don't have to create or make something on my own. Like, I can come in and be helpful or pull the people in. That's the thing. And if your thing is just being the person that says hello to the teenagers on the block, right, to build community in that way, then that's perfect. There's nothing too small. And I think we have to put ourselves in a place where we're not expecting each other to be brilliant on every single issue and show up on every single issue. And let us be the nonprofit, right? Or be the neighbor that cuts the grass, or, like, whatever that looks like to build community. And I'm also going to encourage everyone to, if you haven't already done it, get involved in your civic leagues. Civic leagues need that support of building community, building space. It's hard. I came up in a civic league where, look, I was not initially trusted because I was this young, not even from here, because y'all know that's the thing. You ain't even from here. What you doing? Coming up in the community, and they're like, "What are you doing? You don't belong here." And we got to get over that stuff. We got to get over that. When people choose Norfolk, they choose Norfolk, and they show up in spaces where they can add value, we have to be more welcoming and not shun people for not being from here. Okay? Like, I'm saying that from personal experience, okay? All right? Like, I'll work to build the trust, but don't count me out because you haven't known me for your entire life, right? Like, I'm here, I'm working, and I know there's lots of people like that. We're here for it. But James, I appreciate you too. James, also, listen, when I talk about the creative economy, James has, and you can drop your website if you can, James. So I got to log off because I'm talking too dang on much. We're getting intimate today. James is a member of the creative economy, an artist, prior military, working on something that I think we all should be looking at: election reform by way of ranked choice voting. So there are some spaces, if you really want to know more about how elections can be better, how we can get different kinds of people in some of these seats, then James is working on some things like that, and he's also an artist, doing some amazing work there too. Marquis, Jennifer, thank you for what you're doing for our neighbors, incarcerated neighbors. I'm on the hook for supporting. I don't know if the staff has already reached out to you since I think we have since the town hall. So I may have an IOU, or you may be on the calendar at some point. Just know that I'm saying this out loud publicly, that I've been through some significant changes in my family dynamic, and we're like working to pull so I can get the earth back under my feet too. Get the earth back under my feet. I'm working on it. Oh my goodness. I have, okay. So Marquis Bell, I'm going to roll through the comments and I'm going to get up out of here. So as I roll through these comments, please make sure that you put your thing that you have going on. If you want me to say it down here, I just got so many comments over here. I want to make sure everybody is seen, heard, recognized, and go from there. Marquis Bell says, I appreciate you and Angela was Green so much. I know it's not easy. It's a sacrifice. And I thank you. And I echo that sentiment. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Actually, I don't mean it from the bottom of my heart. You ain't got to reach that deep. I mean it from the top of my heart. You ain't got to reach that deep in my heart to know. Appreciate you. Huntersville, they're only on Facebook. So the Huntersville Wolverines, if you were here when we were talking about that, they're only on Facebook. I love you, Jackie Williams. I miss you so much too. VA Justice Alliance. Oh, okay. So Jennifer and Marquis, can you email, and the email is, I'm gonna let me hide that comment. There we go. Can you email the power at this email? I'm showing it up there because you can watch the replay. Ben Dope times 2 wants to connect with you on the work that you've been doing. So VA Justice Alliance. So this is that thing that I'm talking about. Can we commit to that? And just to make sure, can you, Jennifer, can you drop a good email or something that I can put over on Instagram so that Ben Dope times 2 can connect with you? Can we do that? Can you drop that in the chat, and then I'll put it over on Instagram. I'm going through Instagram. No, we should have a, oh, Jackie says, excuse me, Life Coach Queen 2022 said we should have a center for kids after school for kids, and teachers should get paid higher because the teacher's probably the babysitter, all the things. Yes. And then also this is a thing too. And I try to contribute when I have the funding, I try to contribute to this, but the YMCA and transportation is the biggest barrier sometimes during the summer. Is that the YMCA will do a free teen membership for the summer. Right? They have this thing where they do not, oh God, it won't let me. I'm going to show this. Ben Dope times 2. I can't copy this comment, so I'm just going to put it up on the screen so that you can see her email address and take it down if you can remember. Okay. But yes, so if you know a teen that's in need too, the YMCA does this every single summer, because I get the little card every summer asking me if I can contribute X amount of dollars to be able to fund one kid going to the Y, one teenager. And if I have it, because I don't always have it, y'all, I'm not a rich chick. If I have it, I try to give it that for that. But they said, I really miss the Boys and Girls Club. That's real. That I hear that from everybody here. And I wish I had that growing up. Yep. You need to write a grant. We all have some room. We care 7577. We all have room for improvement. That's so true. I be trying to be one of a kind. I can only do so much. Yep. He says you live in the above and beyond zone. We be trying. Lisa said that's Suhei. Jackie, I'm trying to set up a meeting with you. Good morning, Sierra. Good morning. Power Through Initiative, still there. We want to develop people's true potential. Also, Jennifer Dalton over at Virginia Justice Alliance. If you have me on Instagram, it's Ben like BEN, dope, like we dope, times 2. So it's 2 with an X, is over on Instagram over there. So if you want to connect over on Instagram, if you don't have that, but their information is in the chat, and I'm going to hide this comment. Got it. Thank God for screenshots. You're very welcome. Got it. Look at us. Yo, this is what this time is for. We connecting the dots. Okay, I've been on here too long. I'm going to get in trouble, right? But I do want to express gratitude to you all for the time and care that you took this morning, for just hanging in there for almost an hour, y'all. Why we do this too? We're supposed to be 30 minutes. Y'all gonna get me in trouble. I got a lot to do today too, and I'm sure you do. It is always a pleasure to share this place with you doers, because doers get more done. We get more done. I am hopeful that this week yields some fruit. I should have sort of a play-by-play schedule for y'all next week of like how you can engage. If you have ideas, remember this is the time in the cycle where I'm starting to do my legislation. All right, so get ready for summer school. Summer school for certified doers is on the calendar for July 27th. I'm not saying it right, July 26th or July 27th. I don't have a venue yet, but save the date, right? Save the date, because that's going to be the day we're going to have summer school where you can learn all the things and all the spaces and all the places. All right. So until next time, I'm Jackie Glass, mama, Navy vet, certified doer, just like you, and the laced up legislator for the House of Delegates, 93rd District, honored to serve. Let's get at it. See you on the flip side.